these descriptive words in Espanol. All right. Now, in Espanol, when it comes to adjectives, and let me make this I can make it a lot bigger. Okay. In Espanol, when we talk about adjectives, adjectives also express gender the same way that nouns do. Okay. So, mesa is feminine because it ends in A, okay? Teléfono is masculine because it ends in O, all right? Now, when it comes to nouns, the gender of nouns is just kind of random. It's just the way the language evolved over the last, 2,000 years, okay? There's really no rhyme or reason for it. But when it comes to adjectives in Espanol, the adjective in Espanol generally has to be the same gender as the noun that it's describing, okay, because they are descriptive words, okay? So if you look then at the words at the very top on page 62, okay, there are various adjectives that you are responsible for knowing. Okay, now these here are grouped according to their opposites. Okay, so if you look at the first picture, and hopefully they make sense, what do you think delgado? Skinny, gracias Haley. Skinny versus gordo. Fat more than anything. I know you're trying to be politically correct, Tyler, but that's okay. Fat. Okay, now, because they both end in O, and if you look at the illustration, those are both supposed to be guys, okay, those are the masculine forms, okay? If you go to the next one, what do you think alta means? Tall, okay? And then its opposite, baja, short, okay? Now, the illustrations are supposed to be showing women. All right, so if it ends in A, then it is the feminine form of the adjective. If I was going to describe, let's say, Tyler, it would be alto, okay, because he is a guy. So, but for a girl, it would be alta. All right, we'll get more into this in un momento. Looking at the next two, all right, once again, they're opposites. What do you think, joven? Young, and then vieja, old. Okay, so young and old. Okay, I'm going to skip the next one just por un momento. Go down to the bottom row. Okay, grande. What do you think, grande? Big or large, and pequeño, small. Okay, so the gorilla is big, and I can't even tell what that other thing is small. Okay, a cat. Okay, maybe a kitten. All right. Now, this next one, okay, you have, what do they use? Feminine. Okay. The term morena or the term rubia, well, let me back up. The term morena can be used to describe a person's skin color. Typically, moreno or morena for the feminine refers to darker skin. Okay, rubio or rubia is blonde. Okay, sometimes though, the person might have dark hair. Sorry, Carson, but have very light skin. I don't want to say pale. But you could use a session at Zoom 10 or something. So in this case, they might call him Rubio, even though his hair is brown. All right. Now, the textbook kind of combines both. But for now, we are strictly going to refer to this as hair. Okay. So moreno or morena literally just means dark-haired. Okay, and then rubio or rubia would be blonde. Okay, Sorry, Liv, you're the closest thing we got. So Olivia would be rubia, okay? And then Haley back there, she's got dark hair, would be morena, just dark-haired, okay, in general. Nothing to do with skin color, okay? And then, of course, there's one more, which we don't have any, unless you're hiding it. What do you think pelirrojo or pelirroja? I'm emphasizing the rojo. Red, yeah, red-haired. Gingers, okay, los gingers. All right, so red-haired, okay? But in this case, morena and rubia, okay? Moving on to the next one, and this has to do with their hair. I know it's not 100% obvious. So what do you think corto would be? Short, okay? He's literally bald. All right, so short, and then largo? Long. Okay, so long-haired. Okay. Por favor, do not confuse bajo with corto. Bajo means short in height, whereas corto means short in length. Okay, and so they're different. Because you can describe, let's say, a movie as corto, all right? It's short, like it was like a 30-minute film, okay? But you would never describe it as bajo, okay? It's a short movie. No, that's short in height, okay? And then the one I skipped over, if you go, does anyone know what bonito means? Beautiful or pretty, okay? And what is feo? Ugly, okay? And then, of course, it also has guapo. Does anyone know what guapo? Handsome, okay? Now, generally, in English, okay, we describe, and this is when you're talking about people, we describe women as being pretty, bonita, okay? And generally, we describe men as being guapo, handsome, okay? And so that's why they give you two of them. Now, that's not to say that I can't, let's say, look at Olivia and say, wow, Olivia is a very handsome woman, okay? Elise is laughing, all right? Not sure why. Haley, if I called you a handsome woman, good, bad? You're like, I don't know what to think, all right? Generally, we don't describe women as handsome, all right? It's kind of the same thing in Espanol, and I say kind of because there are some countries, Spain being one of them, that you can look at Elise and say, ella es guapa, she is handsome, and it's actually a compliment, okay? But then I also know from experience that if you go somewhere like Argentina and describe a woman as handsome, all right, you get the reaction that Haley and Olivia kind of like, I'm not handsome, all right, like type of thing. I'm a woman, okay? You don't describe women as handsome. By the same token, I'm not going to describe Tyler as being pretty, all right? Look at him, he's pretty, like he's so pretty. You know, generally you don't describe men as being pretty. You know, it's guapo. You're like, I am pretty though, Santos, you know? So yeah, okay? And then of course, feo is the opposite of both, all right? Now, like I said, all right, for the most part, all right, your adjective has to agree in gender with the noun it modifies. And so if an adjective ends in the letter O, you just change that O to an A, and it becomes the feminine form, okay? Now, there are some exceptions, okay? If an adjective ends in a completely different letter, and so we just had two of them, okay? What is joven again? Young, and what is grande? Large, okay? I can say mujer joven, a young woman, hombre joven, a young man, okay? I don't have to change it. I don't have to say joveno, jovena, all right? It can just be joven for both of them. But if I was describing them both as tall, then it would be alta and alto, okay, there I do have to switch. Now, I'm not going to describe you guys as big, but I could say this table, una mesa grande, a big table, this is a big ass phone. I mean, just look at your own and look at this one. All right, sorry, Haley, you can't see it, it's behind the there, but el teléfono grande. All right, this is a big phone. Okay, although I do remember when cell phones were that size. Okay, so yeah. Anyways, all right. So you don't need to change it. Okay. Now the other thing is that adjectives also have to agree in number with the nouns that it's with. Okay. So in this case, we can describe, a lady in class as bonita. Okay. Because there's only one. But if I was going to describe all three of our female students, then it would be bonitas. Okay? Mujeres bonitas. All right, same thing with the gentleman. Okay, let's get rid of that little tail there. All right, I'm describing Carson. I say el hombre guapo, handsome young man. But if I'm describing Carson, Peyton, and Tyler, hombres guapos, okay? You have to change it then into the plural, okay? Or I can just describe all six of you as, I can be an asshole and be feos, okay? Los estudiantes feos, okay? Because I'm talking about all six of you, okay? So, and if you want the technical one, adjectives agree in gender and number with the nouns they modify. Okay, so if you have a masculine noun, then you need a masculine adjective. If you have a feminine noun, feminine adjective, singular, singular, plural, plural. Okay, now these do not change genders. Okay, but you do have to make them plural. All right, so talking about alls y'alls, los estudiantes, how would I make joven plural? Jóvenes, yes, because it ends in a consonant. You add es. Gracias, Liv. So los estudiantes jóvenes, the young students. All right. And I guess I'm not going to call y'all big, but I can say los libros. Okay. If it ends in a vowel, you just add an s. Okay. Libros grandes. All right. Preguntas on this. All right, then. You can see the words up there, okay? Numero uno talks about the whole gender and number agreement. Numero dos, okay? And I already did it here. It does talk about how if your adjective ends in a vowel, you add s. If it ends in a consonant, you add es. Okay, but you do need to make the, you do need to make the adjective plural. Okay, numero tres. Okay, number 3. Do I have a slide for this? Oh, this is for number 2. There we go. Okay, nationalities. Okay, nationalities are considered adjectives. All right, so if you recall from, was it last class or was it last chapter? I don't remember now. Okay. What is alls y'all's nationality? Americano in English, but you don't really say that in Espanol. Elise is racking her head. Okay. Yes, it's a form of Estados Unidos. Okay. Estadounidense. Okay. That is your nationality. You're a United Stateser. Okay. Because it ends in the letter E, okay, Elise would say, soy estadounidense. Tyler would say, soy estadounidense. Okay. Now, when it comes to other nationalities, all right, they don't 100% follow some of the rules for adjectives that we've done. So they're kind of the exception. Now, a lot of them do. So for example, Mexicano, all right, is Mexican, all right? Typically a Mexican man, okay? But then Mexicana, all right, would be a Mexican woman, okay? Now, think back, okay, when we talked about gender, okay? And remember, when we use the masculine plural, okay, it is the default form, okay? Now, I can say las mexicanas to talk about Mexican women, but if I say los mexicanos, what is one possible meaning of this? Who are we including? Everyone, yes. So this would be like the Mexican people, like everyone who lives in Mexico, men, women, children, okay? Going to some of these other ones, and I'm going to do Alemán first. Does anyone remember what Alemán is? German, okay? So this would be a German man, all right? El Alemán, okay? Now, it ends in the letter N, so we literally just add an A, okay, for a German woman, all right? Alemana, okay? Now, if there's a lot of German women, Alemanas, okay? Because it ends in A, we just add an S, all right? So we made it plural, okay? But what do we do for German? What do we add? And Olivia had the answer before. ES, yeah, so Alemanes. Now remember, this could mean like a lot of German guys, or like all the German people, everyone who lives in Germany.
So why do you take the accent off the A when it's plural, but not? Yeah.
Okay, so you have the accent because it's Aleman, all right? If a word ends in the letter S, then the stress is on the second to last syllable. Here, it's the last syllable, so you need to do an accent. But once you add ES, you just added another syllable.
Is that the same thing for the singular for feminine for it as well? Or no?
Yeah. Okay. What is inglés? And it'll be the same thing with here, with the accent. But what is inglés?
English.
English. Someone from England, a man from England. If you're going to talk about an English woman, all right, you're going to add an A, inglesa. Okay? And yeah, okay? If you're going to talk about all English people, every person from England, okay, inglés es. Okay, you add an ES. And stuff like that. So it doesn't quite follow the same pattern as some of the other ones, so it's a little bit different. And especially with those nationalities like, what is Francés? French, okay? No, it's not Francesca. It's Francesa, all right? A French woman. Okay, what do you think? Japonese? Japanese. Well, if you want to describe a Japanese woman, Japonesa. Okay, a Japanese woman. Now, I know we're not like on the food chapter yet, but does anyone know the word for food en español? Comida. It ends in A, so it's feminine. So if you want to describe a particular cuisine, you're going to use the feminine form, all right? Because remember, nationalities are adjectives. What is comida italiana? Italian food, yeah. You don't say comida italiano or italiano comida. No. All right, you use the feminine because comida is feminine. Okay, it's right here. All right. Comida mexicana, Mexican food. Okay, so you're going off to Chipotle or whatever. Comida mexicana. All right. And so you would use the feminines. Not a lot of places here. There's maybe like 2 or 3. But what is comida japonesa? Japanese food. Yeah, comida japonesa. All right. So whenever you're talking about a particular, dish or food or cuisine, just use the word comida and then the feminine. Oh, not the plural. The feminine. All right, form of the nationality. Okay. Comida alemana, German food. Not sure what that is other than sauerkraut and brats and beer. All right, but comida alemana. Okay, and so on. All righty. What is comida estadounidense? American food. Okay, seriously, when you travel abroad, people are like, yeah, you guys just eat like hamburgers and hot dogs, right? And it's like, yep, 3 meals a day, all day, every day. Okay, type of thing. Although one time I was in South America and they're like, is it true that un desayuno estadounidense, they're like an American breakfast, is like panqueques y huevos y bacon y jamón y waffles y jugo and leche, and they basically listed everything on the Denny's Grand Slam menu, like every slam, and I'm like, not at the same time, but yeah. And I'm just like, no, not that much. Unless you're big like Santos, maybe you eat all that at the same time. But usually no. Okay, you pick one of those, and then that's it. Okay. Although Tyler's disagreeing. He's like, no, I do the bacon, the sausage, the ham, everything. Right? Yeah. Okay. You're young. Okay. If you go to the next page, page 63. Okay. At the bottom. Okay, you have then a list of adjectives, words that you can use to describe either people or things in addition to